really just invite you to ask me anything about energy, because man, it's a big topic, and it's fun. I love being with you. I love being able to answer some of your awesome questions that are coming in. Some of you have already sent questions, and we're going to be looking at some of those, but I also really want to make sure that those of you who are joining me here tonight get some of your questions answered. I know that Jen is in the chat and will help guide any way and she can there, and Naomi is here with me to be able to facilitate the questions as well and bring them forward to me. So Naomi, how about we start? As people are coming in, it's really great seeing lots of you. Awesome names coming in. Bev, Roxana, Celia, really glad that we're going to be together. But how about we start, Naomi, because I want to make sure I get to as many questions as we can. So bring on any questions that you have already.
Great. Well, Jeanette's got one, which is, what do you see when you look in the mirror? Do you see your face? Do you see swirling energies? How do you see yourself? We all know you see energy, which is interesting.
Yeah. Cool. That's an awesome question. I see whatever I look at. I mean, it's just kind of true for us in all parts of life, isn't it? We see whatever we look for, whatever we get curious about. So if you look in the mirror, I mean, and if I look in the mirror and I'm feeling kind of crappy, and I look in the mirror, what I see is depletion in me as a person, or anger or irritation or upset or whatever it is that's making me feel off. I see that in my face, in my body language, in all of the ways that you do. And then if I get curious, like what's going on, then I'll expand further and further. So it might be that generally when I look at anyone, including myself, I can't take the energy out of the overall picture because it's all so interlinked. But it really depends. If I want to concentrate, let's say I look in the mirror and I know I'm not in my fullest form. I look in the mirror and I think, what's going on with me? What's happening? Then the energy system that is most needing attention, or that's showing up out of balance, that will kind of, think of an X-ray. I work a lot in X-ray colors rather than in kind of real-time colors. It's my most immediate, quick way of understanding anything. So if I'm giving that question, what's going on, then maybe a meridian will suddenly show up and it will be a much darker shade than anything else, or a much lighter shade, but it shows that it's different. It's not working in its balance. Or maybe I recognize, wow, my aura is really holy at the moment. Not holy as in a halo good way, but full of holes. Or maybe my heart field has absolutely got depleted and I've got a gaping hole in front of it. So it depends on what I'm looking for. And same with other people. When I look at myself, one of the first questions I always ask my field is, where are the strengths? Because I want to know, like, okay, that meridian or that aura or that energy system is coming forward out of balance, but what is still doing really wonderfully in my system that I can use to kind of scoop into the place that isn't doing so well? So I think I answered your question. I see whatever I'm looking at. I can see a specific energy field, a specific energy system. I can see a spot on the end of my nose, whatever it is that I'm looking for.
Great. Vicky is expanding on that, and she wondered two things: whether it's ever overwhelming seeing the energy of everything. And she says sometimes when she's holding, she gets burning in her fingers when she's doing the energy holds. And what does that mean?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's pick up that second point first, because it's really important. And I know lots of you will feel that. It's dense electrical energy that you're feeling anytime, let's say you were holding beautiful, powerful points, especially on the midline of the body, or in the arm creases or groin creases, anywhere that there's kind of a deeper access to some of the core energy of your body. So you probably won't get that deep throbbing if, for example, you were holding a point in the hand, or maybe any of these amazing acupoints that are in the arms, because you're not accessing that deeper electrical energy. But it's totally normal totally healthy. Some people have a really dense electrical charge and other people's don't. My system is super, super dense. So I'll often experience that real thick throbbing. If ever it's uncomfortable, I know that things are being a little bit resistant to movement, and that's okay. I just hold it for a bit longer. Or if it's, sometimes I've experienced it, especially if I'm working with clients and we're really working to move deeply congested energy, that my fingers will literally feel like they're in hot water. I mean, burning. It's not pain because I know what it is, yeah, and I know it will pass as soon as I take my fingers out. But in that instance, I'll just or maybe visualize water going over my fingers to cool them down, or maybe even just take my fingers, give them a little shake, a little smooth off, and come back into the point. So those are techniques that you can use, but it's all fine. It just means that you're really experience the density of your own electrical system. Beautiful. As what was the first question and that answer though?
Does it ever get overwhelming seeing energy?
No. I remember there was one winter and I was really tired, really tired. I was kind of what we'd call bone tired, but especially psychically. I'd been working really hard for months. It was soon after I'd come back to England after living away for lots of years. So I was busy setting up my business, supporting my family, and I was overworked in that respect. I had not found the balance. And so it got to one Christmas and I really understood that I needed to reset some things. So I shut down that energy perception. And that was a really odd 2 weeks. I kind of said that I was going to give myself 2 weeks to really move into the depths of myself and to kind of see everything internally rather than see externally, if that makes sense. And yeah, it was really strange. And I remember having a flash of fear when I was like, okay, I feel much more recharged. I'm going to open back up to being able to perceive at that level. And there was this flash of really deep fear in me, like, what if I can't? What if actually closing it down means that I can't expand into it again? And that was a scary moment. But that's where trust kicks in, and it came back and I was grounded and I was feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. So that ability to perceive came back fine. I would say the only time, and it's exactly the same with all of you, the only time it feels overwhelming is when I'm overwhelmed. Maybe I'm just, I'm in the middle of a big supermarket and there's things everywhere and you just begin to get that sense of, wow, I'm losing my groundedness. I'm losing my centering here. And so that's when I'll definitely bring in an exercise, even just stand looking at the shelves or whatever, pretend to be looking at the products because there's no way I'm seeing anything by that point, but just put my hand on my head, one hand on my belly, take a couple of breaths and just settle back down. And then nothing feels overwhelming anymore. All right, Naomi, I see loads of awesome questions coming up. So
Great. Lynx was asking about, what to do when feeling ungrounded because of energy. That would be very helpful for her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, let's think about what happens energetically when you unground, because it's a very distinct energetic movement. We should have energy moving from above your head to below your feet at all points. We should have energy moving from below your feet to above your head at all times. So we've got this flow. When you begin to unground, then that really fundamental, basic, core electromagnetic flow through your system literally begins to retract into both places. Yeah. So it's not just that you no longer are connected to the earth beneath your feet in that same electromagnetic way. It's that you begin to close down the connection above as well, and your aura shrinks. So you no longer have that buffer and connection. For me, connection and protection are the same thing. If you're in your vital place, then you can be amazingly connected while still being protected, because that's how your energy systems are designed to work. But when things begin to retract, when maybe your body then moves into fight, flight, freeze, which sucks in all of the system into the core even quicker, then actually you've lost that flow. So if we just really understand that, then when we think about groundedness, it's anything that brings that flow back in. So there's beautiful visualizations, things that, you imagine water just moving, that you're standing in a shower, something like that, or under a waterfall. So for those of you who love visualizing, then understand that why that's effective is that you're literally inviting your energy fields to shower down your body system through your aura, through your meridian, through your chakras, and come back in contact with the ground. Remember that your energy is always looking to be connected, to be resilient, to be healthy. So the minute you come into that place, then bing, that groundedness comes back in through your entire body system. So visualization, if that's the way you work, brilliant. Breath. We all breathe. So even to take one conscious breath and bring that breath into your lungs in whatever way you can. And as you breathe out, you breathe that breath through your nose, all the way through your body, through your legs, through your feet. Maybe as you breathe in, you come all the way up. When you breathe out, you come all the way down. Whatever works for your system, but breath can be an instant grounder. The technique I just said about with one hand on your head, again, brilliant, because it just drops things in. Smoothing your skin, just working from the top of your arms down and off your hands, or having both hands on your abdomen. Any of these things settle and bring your energy system back down into balance. So always understand what it is that you're trying to affect. It's not about wanting one specific meridian to pick up and work properly, or that if you could just get your aura more resilient. It's understanding the movement that's going on and then coming into relationship with whatever works best for you to get that movement happening when you realize that it's come on up. All right.
Wonderful. We've got two people who have asked, so Layla's asked if there's anything you can suggest for keeping the ovaries healthy. And Jaffe also asked about the ovaries because she said she's doing your menopause program, but she's no longer menstruating. So would you still do the holds? Incorporate the ovaries?
Absolutely. So for those who are working with the Mighty Menopause program and doing the ovary holds, keep doing them, even if you don't have ovaries, yeah? Because energetically you still do. And if you have your ovaries, but they're no longer menstruating, actually they're doing amazing and really, really vital roles here as well. So it's not like they just become dried up little nothings. They're still holding a really key energetic anchor. The ovaries are they're an amazing, amazing system in your body. I apologize to the men who are on the call right now because this might not be relevant to you, but the ovaries, they have, if I was to look at your kidneys, the ovaries and the kidneys are two kind of similar energies. There's a big difference. The kidneys look like an amazing black hole of swirling potential, yeah? And they move in all the time. This energy like cycles and moves in. So they vibrate. They're so dense. They are packed full of potential. Well, the ovaries have a similar energy, but they're silver. They're like, and they spin in the same way, but instead of spinning in, they spin out. So it looks almost like a Catherine wheel, yeah? These fireworks that are continually going off, even when your ovaries are resting, maybe they're not actually working with moving that egg through or anything at that point. But they have the same massive power and potential as the kidneys. It's just that they move it out in a different way. But your ovaries are incredibly electric. So when it comes to groundedness, a lot of your electrical energy can get tied up in certain parts of the body, and what you want it to do is flow. So Oh, I could talk for the whole time on ovaries because they're so amazing. But essentially, any holes that encourage the ovaries to move in the way they're designed to do is brilliant. And you know, if you're a woman and if you have ovaries, you probably know where they are because at some points in your cycle or at some points in your life, you might have felt one really engaging as it began to release an egg. I think it's very common. A lot of women can say, oh, I'm ovulating from my left ovary this month. I'm ovulating from my right ovary because you just feel the density, the movement. For some of you, if you really work with a lot of tenderness and pain during your menstrual cycle, you might not have that kind of relationship with an ovary because the whole area is tender. Actually, not this month, but next month, I'm doing a class. It's all about the monthly cycle and hormones. So I'll get to talk more about ovaries there. But anything that just aids that balance in groundedness, really important for ovaries. The ovaries are governed by a specific meridian system, or at least they're in very, very tight relationship with a specific meridian system, and that is the stomach meridian system. So that meridian system has a lot to do with ovarian health, fertility, and also it's your big, big grounding system in the body. Also responsible for breast health. So amazing. This stomach meridian has a lot to do with women's bodies and women's reproduction. So lots of YouTube videos about how to help balance the stomach meridian, the stomach organ. So they would, if I was working with ovarian health, those are the ones I'd really be looking at. And I know as well as a couple of blog, I don't want to push you all the way to other resources in each of the questions, but know there's some blogs on womb health and womb and ovaries, very, very close with their energy. So they would be great for you to read as well.
Okay. Sage is asking practical thing is, do you get more benefit holding body parts without clothes covering the area? Is
No.
the healing energy less strong?
No, it doesn't make any difference at all. If you, yeah, really doesn't make any difference. The only way that will make a difference is if you think it does. If you're holding points and you're feeling, oh, I've got clothes on, so this isn't as strong, then immediately your energy will follow your consciousness and it won't connect at the depth that is possible. But remember, like, you can even work with those points right off the body. So let's say I wanted to be working, or what can you see? Let's say I wanted to be working with these points here, the 27th point on the kidney meridian. It may be that I'm right off it and I'm literally just lasering energy from my fingers. So at that point, it doesn't matter what clothes you're wearing, it's still going to be going in really well. So clothes don't make any difference at all. Sometimes I've struggled to connect as the meeting point of points in the feet when you're wearing big shoes. You know, like I'm thinking, being out in the snow, got great big boots on and thought, oh, this point is needing a bit of attention. Then I have to work harder to connect into that point through, you know, a great big rubber boot, but that's more to do with the rubber, eh? It's an insulator. It stops electromagnetic connection. So it means it has to be more subtle energetic connection at that point. So maybe through big rubber boots, there's more of a challenge, but you can still do it.
Lucinda is asking, she's doing the April energy forecast sequence and finding it really helpful, but she's noticed that her scalp, her jaw, and her teeth have become more sensitive. And is that normal?
Well, it can be. Anything you do is going to bring more energetic balance to the area, which is going to make you much more aware of the area. It's one of the kind of paradoxes of working with energy. In lots of ways, in almost all ways, it makes you more resilient, but it also makes you more aware. So it's about kind of clocking that, oh, you know, I've got this sensitivity in my face now, but not jumping on that as that sensitivity means problem, or that sensitivity means that I've got a really sensitive tooth or anything like that. sometimes when I've worked with people who are beginning to explore energy, then it can be quite a like adjustment period. Suddenly, maybe they could have 3 glasses of wine and not have much effect in their body. And after they've worked with energy for a few weeks, they have 1 glass of wine, and my goodness, they feel it. So, the tolerance has gone way down. Or maybe they could eat wheat really happily. And then after a few weeks, they realize, you know what? Every time I eat wheat, I don't feel as good. That's not to say that the wheat didn't affect their body in exactly the same way before they became more aware. But now, because you're more in contact, you're more in communication with your body system, you perceive it. You think, oh, actually, I've just had a dip 20 minutes after I've eaten that today. And so then it's up to you whether you want to do something about it. So very, very normal to be in a deeper relationship with the awareness of your body once you're in relationship with your energy. Yeah.
And Anne is asking, she's saying she's sensitive to all kinds of energy, including EMFs. And can you recommend strength energy to be more resilient and less affected?
Absolutely. And actually, that is going to be an online class. I think that one's in June. So yes, wait for that one. But that one is coming because I'm aware that, when I put together the 90-minute, the short online classes that I do every month, what we're trying to do is respond to the need in the community. And a lot of you have asked about 5G, EMFs, e-smog, Wi-Fi, all of that. So yes, I'm just finished creating a class specifically for that. So I'll hold that question and hopefully that class will answer that. But there's a lot you can do. Like the biggest thing is to be in that deep trust of the resilience of your body system, because most of us are much more likely to be depleted energetically through something we're thinking inside than through anything externally ever. So just remember, like, we hold the key to the pressure valve, the resiliency, the bounciness of our energy system. So flipping into different relationship with your energy so that Wi-Fi, that 5G, that whatever it is, even if it comes in, can immediately be processed and got rid of. Ideally, it doesn't penetrate at all, but sometimes it does. So it's about real deep trust that you can adapt to that and adapt in ways that's really, really empowering. That's the beauty of understanding energy, because nothing has to bring you down, or you are no longer at risk of being a victim to anything. So that's a little example. As I was walking up the stairs a couple of nights ago, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm really tired. And there was a choice point. I recognized it was a choice point. It was either going to be like, oh, and sort of a collapse because of that tiredness. And I trust that we all know that feeling when you just suddenly, like, it almost comes from a place of, oh, I'm really tired and I'm overtired. And there was that choice point, and I thought, wow, I'm really tired because I've done some amazing things today. I'm so grateful that I was able to do that. It didn't change my tiredness level. I was still just as tired, but suddenly I was filled with gratitude and joy about being tired. So energetically, those two states look totally different. One is filled with space and compassion and the amazing energy of gratitude. And the other one's going to move into a spiral of just about every shadow place that I have or you have, is going to start triggering all of that self-criticism or criticism of whomever it was that didn't help you enough when you needed help, and all of that story. So being in relationship with your energy can help hold that into a much, much happier place.
Great. Well, talking about relationships with energy, SR has just said regarding rhythms, he often sees birds gather at sunset facing the sun. Have you seen the energy fields around this phenomenon, and what might the birds know that we could learn from them?
Oh, good question. I haven't noticed it. Let me just think. No, I haven't noticed that. I'm going to. Maybe I'll be able to give some insights into that another time. Yeah, no clue.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
We'll return.
Mhm.
Right. So this is. Let me just see a couple of
I've seen a
questions.
question
Oh, go
here,
on.
Naomi, that I want to bring forward.
Yes.
Irene, you're asking, in the December energy forecast, you did a soul light activation exercise. Can you explain more about the high heart and the assemblage point? And can you do this exercise any time of the year? Really, really love that, Irene. And I want to say, maybe I haven't even thought of saying it in the past, but any exercise, whether I put it in a energy forecast specific to a month or in a program specific to an organ or a theme, any exercise, especially if you love it or if it resonates with you, is brilliant for any time of the year. There's never a only do now. It's that exercise is one that I feel can help your system adjust with the cosmic energy field that's out there. But it doesn't mean that there's a time or a month or a vibrational field that is really specific to that. With any of the consciousness or energy exercises, people tend to have three responses. One, love them. Like there'll be one that your whole body just says, yes, I need that. I can take that. This is the one for me. Two, don't like it. Really don't. Have even a resistance to it. And in that case, I would say that's one that would also be great for you to do at times. It shows that there is a part of your energy system that can't work with that exercise. It's resisting it. It's finding it difficult to move around what that exercise is inviting to change in your body system, which means you need it. But never kind of batter your system over the head with an exercise that you don't really enjoy. It's about just kind of weaving it in a little bit occasionally until you find that your body system can work with it in a much more gentle way. I have one horse who really does not like her chest being touched at all, but she loves her head being scratched. So I'll scratch her head and then I'll just touch her chest and immediately go back and scratch her head and then touch her chest. So, and it's the same kind of thing. How do you help your body system move in safety towards a different result? So absolutely, you can do that soul light activation exercise anytime. It's a beautiful, beautiful one to do. And as far as the assemblage point, that was definitely, we had a lot of questions about the assemblage point. I've got a blog written about it, so there's some information there about it. It's a really, I don't know what to say about it here. The September online class, I'm really going to explore more about the assemblage point. The September online class happens to coincide with a full moon and the equinox, the autumn equinox. So I thought that was a beautiful time to really explore the energy of the assemblage point, the way it helps guide you forward on your soul path. So I'm going to explore much more about the assemblage point. For now, let's say that the assemblage point really determines how you interact with the world and how the world interacts with you. And it comes, so the assemblage point is this amazing, so mine right now is kind of sitting here-ish. It's an amazing energy that comes from deep inside you, right in that energetic core. And there are filaments of energy that come up through the top of the sternum. Sometimes it's perceived as a high heart chakra or a mini heart chakra. There's lots of different names for this kind of swirling vortex of energy that's right at the top of the sternum. And then there are the most amazing silver filaments of that essential energy of your, I'm going to use the word soul. You can use whatever word resonates with you, but your soul energy that moves through and then creates this exquisite energy field of its own. It's the only part of your entire energy that I see with an aura around it. Everything else has its own vibration, but it doesn't have the emanation of soul essence to create its own specific energetic field around it, but the assemblage point does. If this is all sounding a bit abstract, then I know that we put some nice energy anatomy images up on the website, so I really hope that the assemblage point is there. But it is the way in which your deepest energy comes out and kind of checks out the world and checks out what part of the world around you you're in alignment with. It moves all the time. If you're in a debate with someone and maybe the discussion is really, really challenging your worldview, then that assemblage point, it's all attention. It's all like, and you might find that you close down and you fiercely defend your point of view. Well, the second you've done that, your assemblage point has dropped and kind of locked into a slightly different position. You might find that in that discussion, wow, you begin to understand a slightly different worldview. And when that happens, that assemblage point lifts, it lightens. So you can think of it sort of as a lens on your worldview. And of course, it's not isolated. That information is coming in through every part of your energy field, but it's your assemblage point that is most connective to all of the differences that are going on. Yes, enough to say about that right now, because again, we could talk a lot about it. I know that we're coming towards end of time, Naomi, but there's so many awesome questions. I'd like to have a couple more.
Okay, well, just a quick one then on that. Paige was just asking about the assemblage point. Is this, about stepping into it and connecting with the soul? So this class is going to teach us how to do that.
Absolutely, more and more.
just holding you to that.
Yeah, good. Do so. But also know that you are already on your soul path. Yeah, and really, really important. So often, especially if we're kind of seekers or questers to really live the fullest life you can live, then many, many times people feel like when I'm doing whatever it is, then I'll be on my soul path. And I think that's a really disempowering illusion. Whatever you're working with right now, whether that's a really messy, confusing pile of all confused parts of life, or whether it's absolute clarity, you're on your soul path. Since before you took your first breath, you are on your soul path. So sometimes that can be reassuring that actually, even if it doesn't feel perfect at all, even if it feels really, really crappy, there is perfection in it. There is that ability to say, okay, I'm understanding a lot more because of this. And this is what I'm really opening to explore for the rest of my steps forward. So definitely connection to soul path we're going to be looking at in that assemblage point in the September class. But don't feel you have to wait till then. It's already happening for you.
Jody is asking, can you describe what you see as healthy power and what you see when someone has or hasn't claimed their power?
Well, if we think of the word power, we can think of the word energy in all situations. So let's just flip that. What does it look like when some hasn't claimed their energy? What does healthy energy look like? I mean, those words are interchangeable for me. So when somebody has claimed their energy, and that's an ongoing job, that's not a full stop, is it? When someone is in relationship with claiming their energy, because there are absolutely days where I know I don't. Yeah, there's a day when you're like, oh yeah, that part of my energy, there's no way I'm accessing it today, just because for whatever reason, something happening in life, something happening in hormones, something happening at work, whatever it is. And there's other days when, wow, you can really begin to feel that fullness. That's in direct answer to your question for me. That energy power is about feeling your fullness, even if that fullness is very quiet and very gentle right now. and sometimes it's very loud and it's very big and it's very fun, you can still be in your fullness at any range within your spectrum of energy. Or you can be out of sorts in all kinds of ways and not access that kind of depth. I think that's, I hope this is clear enough, but I think that's a way I would interpret balanced power or balanced energy, is that you always feel connected into yourself, connected out into the outside world, connected into something that is in some way sacred. That would be my word for it. You might say divine, or have a higher consciousness, that you're part of something. For me, that's what connection is. And that might be that you love being in nature, but it's got to be that fullness is experienced through the physical, the emotional and cognitional, and the sacred or the spiritual as well. For me, that's what balanced energy looks like. And that then shows up in balanced power in your life, because you can bring compassion into every part of your life, because you kind of are holding it in a really, really different way. Ceremony is so important for kind of helping your energy system move out of the kind of functional in the day-to-day. It can get very sort of, I'm sure all of our lives can get very focused and kind of directive at times. Yeah, must do this. This is my to-do list. I've got to do the shopping. I've got to feed the whatever. So it can become quite habitual. The minute we move into any form of ceremony, and ceremony is a state of consciousness, not an act. Ceremony is not me necessarily lighting a candle and saying a blessing. Ceremony is me moving into a different energetic state. And that's the place when people are able to kind of house that, then that ability to move into the creative energy field really, really gets enhanced. And that's when balanced energy, balanced power, it's like in all situations, you can keep at least one foot that's really grounded and centered, even if the other foot is feeling a bit wobbly and you're having to really figure things out. You're being held in a deeper way.
Thanks, Prune. Do you want one more, or you?
Yes, have one more. I'm whizzing through them as well. So many awesome questions.
Yeah, there's lots of great questions. Alison is just asking about, she sometimes finds herself lifting heavy energy out of various areas, often her stomach or gut. And she just asked, how do I replace it safely with super energy?
You broke up a little bit there, Naomi. I didn't hear the first of it. I heard how did she replace it with super energy, but I didn't hear what she's wanting to replace.
So she's finding herself physically picking energy out of her, her gut, often stomach or gut.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, for me, it's about, so the question as I understand it is that there is congested energy that you feel you are helping your body clear. And your question is, what needs to come in behind that congested energy? That would be my languaging around what you're asking, I think. If that is not your question, then let us know. So in that respect, it's just about connection, isn't it? Your energy field is designed to move in balance. So if there has been pockets of stagnation for whatever reason, pockets of stagnation that you understand that with your intention, with your energy work, you're beginning to help that move, then the question of what's behind it, often that's where I would go to breath work. I'd really like, maybe you feel like there's been a beautiful release in something. So then breathing into the core of you and just breathing out. There's amazing ways of breathing through the entire energy field so that you're activating it with, let's say, a color. Yeah, color is just a vibration. So it maybe let's all do it together. Let's finish here by just working with an exercise together. All right. So let's take a moment just to think about being connected connected in really, really healthy, safe, magnificent ways, whatever that means to you. Think about that energy beneath your feet. If you're lying down, maybe you're lying on the sofa right now or in bed, and think of the way that the energy is moving down from your spine in the back of your legs and the back of your head to connect into the floor. And let's take a couple of breaths here together. As you relax, invite your body system to ground down, to ground up, maybe even to know yourself as an essential part of this amazing web of life, so that the earth is looking to connect with you, just as you are looking to connect with it. The cosmos is looking to connect with you, just as you are looking to connect with it. And bring to mind that amazing energetic core running deep through the very, very depth of your system, the very core of your system. Let's place one hand on the abdomen, wherever feels natural for you, and one hand on the heart. And you're going to breathe in, so that you're breathing in through the feet and in through the crown. The energy of this breath is going to meet all the way through the energetic core. And as you breathe out, you can imagine, think, see, visualize that you're breathing out from the core through every single cell in your body, every single pore on your skin. And you're breathing the energy of that core, that breath out through the skin and into the aura. As you breathe in, come back into the feet, to the head, to the crown, breathing into the core. And as you breathe out, inviting energy from that core to flow through your entire body system, all the pores of your skin out into the aura. One more time, breathing into the core. And all the way out, inviting that breath, perhaps as a color that you can see, perceive, visualize, think, that moves through your body, through your skin, filling your aura, connecting, protecting, healing. Okay. So that was a lovely question, because it gave us that lovely way to work together. Wow, awesome questions. I'm going to do some more of these Ask Me Anything, because I think it's a great way to go through lots of different topics and hopefully find ways to answer your questions. Thank you so much. Thanks, Naomi, for facilitating all of these great questions. Thank you, Jen, as well. And thank you to everyone for joining me. Really awesome. Really loved it. Blessings on your day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.